Eric Burris in the Weather Center. Meteorologist Cam Tran sitting next to me, working feverishly on her forecast. You'll see her on WESH 2 News starting at 4 o'clock. But just wanted to pop on here and chat with you. The very latest, by the way, in the bottom corner with Invest 98. And certainly we're going to talk more about that. But I don't want you to forget that it is still a summer's afternoon. We are still tracking some rain. Here's a look from our first morning live Doppler radar tower, and it is pouring. Yeah, that's kind of the big story, at least here locally right now, is that we are watching these thunderstorms firing up across town. So let's zoom in on our first morning live Doppler radar, and you can see right where the radar is, very heavy rain kind of lifting in from downtown Orlando. Collision of sea breeze boundaries, Conway back up here toward Altamont Springs, Castleberry, Winter Park area, back out east around the University of Central Florida, Avalon Park, Wedgefield, Bithlo. Further to the north, nothing quite as strong. Definitely the majority of the activity that we are watching is in the metro area itself. So some stuff to watch. The good news is nothing strong or severe at the moment, but definitely things that we will be watching very closely these next few hours' time. So what does our local forecast look like? We'll talk about that, and then we will get right to the tropics, because certainly that is the big talking point, we'll say, as soon as this decides to load. We'll wait. It's okay. It's okay. Load the clouds. We'll wait. Nobody's watching. Okay, there you go. So showers and thunder showers now. 7 o'clock, notice that rain coverage does gradually taper off. We're going to end up with about a 30% coverage of rain 7 p.m. We're going to keep the clouds around 8, 9 o'clock. And then by 10, 11 o'clock, things will start to clear on out little bit by little bit. We look better over top little bit by little bit. Okay, that's tonight. Next couple of days, here's a preview of the 7-day forecast, and very clearly, rain chance starts to come down just a little bit. 40% coverage for Wednesday. 30% coverage of rain is about as high as we get by next Monday, but look at what happens Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Rain chances lowered as a little bit of dry air marches into our area. So that's cool. Definitely an improvement of sorts. It may not look like fall in terms of temperatures, but at least, hey, at least we're kind of in that direction. All right, let's talk about the tropics. Obviously, that's the big discussion point. So there are 4 areas that we are monitoring. Fiona, over the Turks Caicos Islands, will be lifting to the north. Not going to talk a lot about that because it's not going to be directly impacting us. It does pick up our wave action, our surf action over the next couple of days. In the North Atlantic, not going to talk much about that either, but that is 8. That is Tropical Depression 8. You can kind of see that little ball of convection there. Then south of the Leeward Windward Islands, you've got Invest 98. We're going to talk a lot about that one. And then in addition to that, off the coast of Africa, it's not an invest, but there's another little feature there that we are going to also be talking about. That has a low-end chance of development. But Invest 98, that's the big game in town. We've got it in our little box there on the bottom left corner of your screen. Here's a look at the satellite imagery. Let me just, give me 1 second here. Stand by 1. I need to fix the graphic. Do that. Do that. Save. Okay. You have to, with Coffee Talk, if you're new, by the way, we aren't exactly the most professional here. If I have to update a graphic, it means we stop our little broadcast and we get to it. All right, there's the satellite imagery. Of course, I'm running it in the bottom left corner of your screen, but there's the kind of more rapid satellite imagery. It's elongated still. A WindSat pass came through, what is it? It's 7, 8, so it's 19 Zulu time. There was a WindSat pass, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13. About 6 hours ago, there was a WindSat pass showing that while it is closing off, it is still not there yet. So it is not a closed low. It is still kind of an open wave, but it's getting there. It's developing. So Invest 98 for sure is going to be something that is wanting to get going. And as you can see in the bottom left corner, we'll bring it up, kind of the more detailed stats. 60% likelihood that this becomes something over the next 2 days' time. 80% likelihood that it becomes something over the next 5 days' time. Aaron says, I believe 98 could be the floor-easter. I'm in Cape Coral on the southwest coast. I told my family to start checking the generator now. Hey, listen, I mean, you know, in hurricane season, it's never a bad idea just to have all of those elements taken care of, right? But I would say this computer model-wise is at least very, 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 very interesting. So let's do this, okay? Let's take a look at the, what is this? This is, I've done so many of these, I can't even keep up. This is the 12Z. Hi, how are you? 12Z GFS model, okay? What are we looking at there? First off, that big purple dot, that's Fiona. That's not a bother to us. Timestamps in the top right of your screen. This is raw model data, so we don't clean it up. We just kind of review it together. There's our storm system on the southern part of the screen, the bottom part of your screen there. This is 6Z on Saturday morning. 6Z Saturday morning is 2 a.m. Saturday morning. All right? Staying well south of the Dominican Republic, Haiti, well south of Puerto Rico. South there of Jamaica, that is 8 p.m. Sunday night. Awful close to the Caymans and strengthening. That's getting to be, what is that, a 962 low? Right? That's never fun. 950s, 940s. Obviously, we're talking about a pretty big hurricane. Getting into the Gulf of Mexico, that's 12Z on Thursday, September 29th. And then coming around Florida, Friday, that is 8 a.m. Friday. Okay, so that's the 12Z. If we go back a model run, it was a little faster, but it was kind of in the same spot. If we go back 2 model runs, it was about the same speed. If we go back 3 model runs, if we go back 4 model runs, okay? The reason that I like going back is to keep everything together here in terms of our understanding of the models. What we're seeing, though, is consistency with the GFS. The GFS now for like 6, 7 runs has been saying, guys, watch the Gulf of Mexico, right? It's been very clear on this. Okay, that's the GFS. Let's come over. We did just get a brand new European model. This is the 12Z European. There's Fiona. There's this next system. That is 12Z Tuesday morning, so that is 8 a.m. Tuesday. Coming ashore around the Big Bend. Okay? There's that. If we go from the 12Z to the 0Z, it's still there. If we go from the 0Z to yesterday's 12Z, it's still there. So there again, European showing model run to model run consistency. Cool beans, right? So there's that. Interesting, okay? What about the ensembles? The European ensembles have not come in yet, but let's just talk about the GFS ensembles. All right, so here we are. This is this evening, and let's just run this through time. All right, ensembles kind of drift southwest and then start moving up into the Caribbean. There are the low locations for 3 a.m. Friday, randomly picked time, nothing specific there. Okay, all right, then we'll just kind of run through time. There's Saturday, 11 p.m. Saturday. Now, what is an ensemble? Think of this as the GFS model, but there's like 25 different versions of it, okay? So the closer they are, let me just rewind this, the closer they are, the more the model is sure. That's where it is. As the models start to spread, you get an idea that it's in that zone somewhere, right? Continuing off toward the west-northwest, and then you can kind of see, I mean, this is a prime example of the models are starting to spread. So we don't know if it'll be a little closer, we don't know if it'll be a little further, we don't know if it'll be kind of right down the middle there, but that's that. And then, of course, from there, the ensembles generally are lifting up toward Florida. I think that they're still running, but that's kind of the current look at the GFS ensembles through the Caribbean, getting up toward the Gulf of Mexico, and then there's a recurvature. The exact timing, we don't know where it's going to be. Okay, so there's that. That's just the GFS ensembles. Of course, there's your standard tropical models too. Let me share that with you, and I'll be tweeting that in just a couple of minutes. They're just coming in now. But here's a look at the kind of tropical models. Not much different than the GFS ensembles. Okay, Intensity models. Let's talk about that very briefly, and then I'll stop talking and take some questions. Intensity models on this, as one would imagine, the models are being a little bullish, looking at this weekend, not only getting into development zone, but kind of trying to develop it pretty good. Cat 2, Sunday, Cat 3, whatever. I would point out, though, when it comes to intensity models, that is the least accurate prediction from computer models. They do better when it comes to location than they do with intensity. All right, so that's Invest 98. Definitely going to be something that we have to work. Definitely something we're going to have to watch. Definitely something we're going to be chatting about. Diener's asking, Tampa Bay bound. Tampa doesn't usually get systems. It's definitely too early to say where this is going, other than generally in a not so great direction. Outside of that, yeah, it's just too early to tell. Are there any currents that can take it in a different direction? What about lows moving in? It all depends on the timing, and I mean we could get super nerdy if we want here. It all depends on the timing of. Give me a few seconds to do this. Let's switch around to this and this, and let's go here to upper air 500 anomaly. All right, so right here. This is what you're looking at, okay? If you look out out east, you see there's a trough. There's a blue shade there. That's a little piece of low pressure, a little front storm system. That's what's going to pick up this feature and recurve it. So it's exact timing of that energy there picking up the storm system. That's the timing there, right? Where is that big blue area, essentially? That is going to be the eventual steerer of Invest 98. All right? So there's certainly nothing set in stone. We are way out there. Terry's asking, do you have a gut feeling on the direction? My gut feeling is that the models are pretty darn consistent. And that's not so great, right? That's just where we're at. So, for right now, there's not much there. But my gut feeling is we're going to have to watch this thing. That's my gut feeling. Shauna says this may impact our little cruise next Thursday from Palm Beach. I hope not. This doesn't look like it's going to be an East Coast deal. I mean, it could be, but it doesn't look like it. What's the estimated date on that, possibly coming close to Florida? It would be, if we look just side by side, the two global models next to each other, okay? Timestamp on the top of your screen there. All right, so there's Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. So it just depends on exactly which model you want to run through, right? But if you're just looking at positions, there's Wednesday, September 28th. And it's getting close. That's as far out as the Euro ran. I need to update that to get some more Euro data. But you get the overall idea. September 28th, something in the vicinity, 29th, 30th. Probably more like a 29th, 30th. Yeah. All right. So that's kind of what we're looking at. All right. I'm going to run. I'm going to update some graphics. But before that, any questions? Any questions, comments, concerns? Models showing consistency is both a good thing and a bad thing. It's good because it's giving you a decent idea, but it's bad because it's giving you a decent idea. And that's kind of the way it is. Shauna says, we just have to watch and wait. That's it. Amen. That's it. Yeah. So which model has been more accurate this year? None of them. Is that okay to say? Yes, that is okay. Right? None of them. Nothing has been overreaching. Not even the Euro. Not even the Euro. Yeah. Tammy says new Floridians ain't ready for this panic mode activated. Ugh. Man. I have to dust off that mental game. Yeah. I'm not worried, but is this potentially Gaston? The problem is that there are many areas that we are watching. If you look at the tropical map, there's Tropical Depression 8 in the North Atlantic. This is Invest 98 in the kind of South Atlantic there. Well, the more equatorial Atlantic. And then you've got this feature off the coast of Africa. So everybody's gunning for names at this point. So you've got Gaston, Hermine, and Ian. So we'll see. Kathy says, so now we talk about this for a week and more and stress. I wouldn't say we stress. We just watch it. That's all. All right? Yeah, Brandy says, excellent reminder to have our kits ready to go. That is the truth. All right? All right, so Cam's going to have the very latest on this, plus all of the storms that are firing up across Central Florida. All right? Be the sunshine in someone else's day. I will see you guys tonight. We're going to have a full wrap with new model data when I see you for the evening coffee talk. We're getting 3 today, baby. Flood advisory. How much rain's falling there? Yeah, right? Real quick, 1 to 2. Oh, yeah, out east. All right, so flood advisory for Orange County. We'll just pop that up before we go off. Orange County, Bithlo, Alafaya Trail, UCF, Avalon Park area. That runs until 5:15. So heads up, it's raining. Cats and dogs. We'll be tracking that and, of course, the latest on the tropics. I'll see you guys and gals online tonight at 9 o'clock.